With the time's going to pass, you might as well do it and achieve your goals. No,
Okay.
I didn't
I
want to
like that. Yeah.
old on my deathbed knowing I never achieved my dream body.
Welcome to another episode of Truth Talks, the podcast that gives you real strategies for sustainable fitness transformation. And today we have a special episode because we are here with one of our clients, Rick. And Eric, how are you doing today?
Good. How are you, Ferris?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. It's funny to ask you that. We've been talking for the last half an hour. But this is going to be a cool episode. I'm excited for this. And we want to do more of these kind of client spotlight episodes because it makes things a little bit more, I guess, relatable for people. And they can kind of see, okay, what does it really look like when we talk about all these kind of practical strategies for getting in shape and all these concepts? What does that look like kind of with our clients? So, Eric, I want to hear first things first, like when we first started working together, because I think it's been what, over like a year and a half
Over a
almost
year,
now?
yeah.
Yeah, maybe a year and 4 months, something like that. So I want to hear about kind of, before you reached out, like where were you at with your fitness journey and how were things going?
No, I was always working out. I've been working out since I was like 13 years old, but I was never really seeing the progress that I wanted to. And I don't know. I figured I'd reach out to you because I saw your page and I knew you personally from meeting you in Guelph, and that you kind of just do all the thinking and planning for me. And I would just follow your lead, and it ended up working out great.
Yeah, man. And so when you first started, you were already training, but like, what do you think was some things that maybe were missing links to the progress you want, or like what kind of progress? First of all, were you trying to get like before we started working together? Like, what were you trying to work towards that wasn't what you weren't getting to?
A body that I was proud of, I guess, be the best way to put it. I wasn't eating enough protein. I wasn't training smartly. I trained like 4 times a week for an hour and a half. It wasn't really efficient. I was only hitting 1 muscle group per week. Yeah, it just wasn't efficient at all.
Yeah, so kind of like organization of training could use some kind of optimization, and then even like nutrition, I guess. Were you tracking at that point in time still, or were you
I went
like
through points where I was tracking, but, in hindsight, I wasn't doing the right things really. I was kind of villainizing carbs and things like that.
okay,
Mhm.
okay? So now, do we love carbs now that you?
I eat Pop-Tarts all the time, not gonna lie.
There we go. That's gonna blow people's mind if they were to see your physique when we started working together. Describe kind of the body composition that you were at then. Like, walk us through that.
Well, I must have been like 40% body fat or something like that in hindsight. Like 210 pounds. Oh, well, no, I was 210 pounds, and then I lost 20, and then I reached out to you, and I was around
Hmm, hmm.
190. Yeah.
Okay, so 100, yeah, like somewhere around 190, and now like we've kind of done some different phases since then, right? So we did a long fat loss phase, which I think a lot of people, we were just talking about this before. They don't really realize like how far away they are from the leanness that they want, right? They're like, oh, I'll just lose 5, 10 pounds and like I'll be good. But then, you take off 5, 10, and then you're like, there's more. And then you take off another 10, you're like, there's still more to go. So I think top to bottom. So technically, before you started with us, you were 210. Then we started at somewhere around 190, and then your lowest body weight and your cut was like 147. So that is a pretty significant amount of body weight to take off. You were looking pretty. I mean, your body comp right now is pretty great. We're going to talk about what we've done since then, but like you got pretty lean,
Yeah.
right?
Very lean,
Pretty lean.
very lean.
Yeah. So which was kind of cool. Like we got to a point where you're kind of like the I guess like model level leanness. Like your face was chiseled. We had good visible abs, like all that kind of stuff. And to get there though, like that's a pretty significant amount of body weight loss. So I think for anybody at home, it's kind of a good kind of realization of it might take you a little bit longer than you think, but it doesn't really matter. Like just kind of keep going. So what would you give kind of advice for people dealing with that mindset of, oh, it's going to take me so long or whatever to get lean? Like what's the mindset that kind of kept you consistent and patient?
How much believe in yourself. That's all it really is. Dare I say it's not that hard. Just stay
Okay.
consistent. Consistency always beats, anything.
Okay. So just like stay in the game kind of thing.
Mhm. No matter, as long as
Okay.
you're consistent every day, you'll achieve whatever you need to.
Okay, I like that. I like that a lot. So, like, because a lot of people they do think so far in advance of like, oh, it's going to take me so long or whatever, and they kind of get demotivated by that, right? So, what was it? Things keeping you motivated? Was it the fact that you were seeing visual changes in your physique, or we were seeing good body weight decrease? Like, what was kind of keeping you motivated? Um, to have that
But the
consistency.
time's gonna pass no matter what, right? It doesn't matter if it's gonna take a year, 6 months to do it, the time's going to pass, you might as well do it and achieve your goals. No,
Okay,
I didn't
I
wanna
like that. Yeah,
old on my deathbed knowing I never achieved my dream body.
it's
Yeah,
a good point.
like,
Yeah, I could totally relate to that. Yeah. You wanna be there still like super jacked and shredded even when you're when you're old, right? That's the
exactly.
goal. Okay, so you mentioned it wasn't that hard. You just need to stay consistent. Now, was the process easier than you thought it was gonna be, or was it kind of exactly the way you thought it was gonna be? Like, what were your expectations, I guess, coming into the process?
It was honestly easier than I thought it would be because, you were able to design my workouts in such an efficient way where I was only spending, like, 45 minutes in the gym, which was just perfect for me. I knew I was gonna have to track my food, so I already knew how that was going to be, but, yeah, I'd say it was easier than I expected.
Okay. Oh, that's good to hear. Did you find like the obviously we made workouts pretty efficient just based on your schedule, but for the food portion, obviously we started a bit more simple, like even with protein and calories, right, instead of macros. So was that kind of like an unlock too, that we didn't have to demonize carbs and we just focus on like a couple key things, and that kind of did most of the work for us?
I completely forgot that we did do that. Yeah, no, that did make it a lot simpler, only focusing on protein and calories. Yeah, that was really
Yeah.
simple.
Yeah, then you kind of scale up from there. So, okay, and you do work shift work, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people that, well, we do actually have quite a few shift workers on our client team, but there's a lot of people that are in shift work that kind of stop taking care of themselves because they're usually the providers. They're like, I am showing up for everybody around. There's almost like that sacrificial mindset around shift workers, I find, where they're, showing up for the job at hand, and sometimes they stop taking care of themselves. So what was there like some sort of mindset shift that you had where you're like, okay, I can still show up work, but I'm going to show up even better when I start taking care of myself? Like,
Yeah,
was there a moment?
definitely, definitely, yeah.
Was it like a specific moment or just kind of something that was always in the back of your mind?
Something that was always in the back of my mind, honestly. And even with this shift work, it's such an unhealthy thing to do in general. You might as well try and control what you can and be as healthy as you can outside of your shift work.
Yeah, just like the sleep disruption and stuff like
Mm.
that, or
Yes.
yeah. Okay. No, that makes sense, man. So, okay, because a lot of people talk about like, yeah, the differing shifts and the sleep disruption as like the reason why they're not training, right? So, what did you find apart from us making the workouts maybe a bit more efficient? Like, what are some ways that you organize your week so that you can make sure that we're still getting things done? Because you have been very consistent. So, like, is there a certain time blocking strategy that you use, or like, are you specific with using a calendar or something like that, or you just kind of go with the flow?
A lot of times I'm going with the flow because my shifts change a lot of the time, which
Mhm.
is what prioritization. Really, whatever you want to prioritize, you'll be able to fit into your life. It's just as simple as that, I find.
If it's a priority, it gets done type thing. Yeah. I have a saying that like says like our priorities are not based on what we say they are, they're based on our actions, right? Like if you were to analyze my actions, you'd very easily see like what actually matters to me, no matter about what comes out of my mouth, right? Like you can see what we do on a daily basis. So I like that you said that. Now, something if for anybody who's working kind of irregular shifts out there, something that we've used with Eric that I think has been very handy apart from making things efficient is also having what I call like a rolling split. And because sometimes the work week is more or less demanding with the amount of hours. So we have kind of like instead of saying, hey, you have to hit, you know, these X number of workouts within your Monday to Sunday, instead it's, hey, just keep rolling through the workouts. And when you finish, we have it like a rolling 4 day split. So you hit 1, 2, 3, 4. If you're free for another session, then start back at number one. But if there's a week where you only hit your 1, 2, 3, then it's fine. But over time, it tends to net out to 4 times per week,
Yeah,
right?
I remember there's some weeks
So
where I only hit 2 workouts, and as long as I was consistent throughout months, it ended up being fine. Some weeks I was able to get 5 in. It's just the way it is.
exactly. Yeah, Exactly. So it's kind of like netting out. And I think that's honestly something that I think maybe people who do work like irregular shifts should think about, because they're so focused on like it has to be 5 sessions every week, like no matter what the work schedule is, but that's not going to work for for people like you, right? So I think for anybody listening, that's maybe a strategy to use. Okay, that's good, man. So all right, so let's kind of go back to kind of progress so far, right? So we took pretty big chunk of body weight off. We got pretty pretty shredded, right? And then from there, we brought food up. And over the past 6 months, we've slowly added some muscle tissue, and we've taken the body weight from the end of the cut at like, let's say, well, so peak of your heaviest was like just over 190. Then we got down to like 147, and now we're just approaching maybe 156s. 6 months of building. All right. So we kind of had the cut, a bit brief maintenance phase, and then brought food up, and we've been focusing on muscle growth. So, is there anything about any of those phases that kind of surprised you? Like, was there anything that you're like, I didn't know it worked like this?
You can get pretty tired of stuffing your face during a building phase. That surprised me.
Unrelatable for
Even if
me.
you're
Never had.
eating candy or Pop Tarts, you kinda get sick of it, which is something I'm going through right now. That surprised me. Other than that, no, nothing really surprised me. I feel like I was already pretty aware of how the process was gonna go just because I'd been paying attention to the fitness industry and everything since I was, like, 13 years old.
Right. Right. So it's just a matter of like having things kind of tailored and accountability to kind of execute it type thing.
And basically someone do all the planning and thinking for me. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's I mean, I was talking about this even on my reel today about like, that's one of the main reasons why I still have a coach, is because it is a lot of thinking, and we have busy lives and we get tired and stuff, and sometimes it's just nice to be like, you know what, just take all that stress for me and let me just do the thing, right? And communicate on how it's going. It's kind of a nice feeling, right? So okay, no, that's interesting that you say that. Okay, so now we're at the point where we've gone lean, we've built some new muscle now on the other side of that. So what in your mind is like, what I know we just talked about this on our check-in, but like what are the next steps for you? Like what's your vision for kind of what you want to accomplish next?
No, just consistently refining everything. Like, I feel like I've already achieved my goal, my big goal, but
Hmm.
like anything in life, it's a work in progress. So, I guess to answer your question, I don't have anything in particular, but other than just fine tuning.
Just like continue to shoot for like one level up type thing.
Yeah, I already did
Okay.
achieve the big goal, which was getting abs and losing all the weight. But I can't just revert back to my old habits now, right?
Hmm.
And I'll just return to what I was before, and that would be devastating.
Absolutely, man, especially after all the hard work, but people do that, right? They get there, like, well, first of all, a lot of guys never actually get abs, right? Let's just call it like it is. Like most guys I wanna get abs, but they never get there, and even if they do, they did in a way that was so unsustainable so that they, as you said, they go back to doing what they were doing before, and they balloon up to where they started,
Hmm.
which is a horrible feeling, right? So, I guess what advice would you give to people who have maybe been in that loop where they've just crash dieted, got kind of lean, and then just keep gaining the weight back, like are kind of in that cyclical situation?
Advice would I give them?
Like, is there like a
Focus
mindset
on the
shift that you?
basics instead of trying to
Yeah.
go all the way 0 to 100. Start focusing
Okay.
on getting 10,000 steps a day. Start focusing on getting enough protein and just doing things that are sustainable instead of living a life that's unsustainable, which is constantly going up and down.
Hmm.
Also, one of my more favorite sayings, it's simple, but it's hard. What you
Okay.
have to do is very
Yeah.
simple. Get into a calorie deficit, eat enough protein, work out 3 times a week. That's it. There's nothing fancy. Don't
Hmm.
take peptides. You don't have to take creatine or any of that stuff. It's very simple, and you already know the answer and what you need to do.
Yeah. Okay. It's kind of like same thing like with running a marathon, right? Like running a marathon theoretically is very simple, right? Another perfect example of something that's very simple, but it's extremely difficult,
Mhm,
right? When it comes, so it's kind of the same thing here. And that's why it's funny because some people will be like, oh, well, it's not rocket science. It's like, okay, well, we can get as sciencey or simple as we want to. right? Like there's many layers to this that we can go really in the weeds, but I think for most people, they don't need to go there. Like let's start with step 1 before we go to step 12. And I think more people would be less overwhelmed by, the thoughts of getting in shape if they didn't have this such big on or off switch and didn't try to go, as you said, 0 to 100, right? So okay, so we did it in a sustainable way. We've managed to, be in a position where your habits are super locked in, where we're not going to revert back to where we were, obviously. So, what was the kind of identity shift that you had? Because obviously, going from your starting body composition to then reaching abs, and even like reaching past of just abs, and also getting like pretty lean, like pretty damn lean. So, what kind of identity shift did you have throughout that? Like, how did the way you see yourself or the way you kind of perceive things change throughout that?
I always knew I could do it. I don't know. I always had that idea in my mind that I could achieve anything with my mind too. In terms of my identity, it's I guess I became more confident in myself when people took pictures of me. I wasn't self-conscious about the way I looked like. So I just felt better. It improved every aspect of my life, to be completely honest. But I guess it depends what you mean by identity shift.
Yeah. No, that's great. Like just a more confident person. Would you say, like, if you're cool with sharing maybe some specifics about like certain situations that you found that confidence has like shown, whether that's in, I don't know, at work or dating or family or like, I don't know, like where has that kind of shown up?
Dating, definitely, it's gotten a lot better.
Doesn't hurt, right? Being
No hurts.
looking like a
Going
model.
on
Yeah.
vacation's more fun when you just walk around with your shirt off. That's great.
Yes,
Um,
for sure.
at work, I feel like the people I deal with, not my coworkers, but just the people I come face to face with treat me differently
Hmm.
now.
Okay.
So I guess they respect me a little more
Hmm.
because I'm in better shape. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
It's
subconsciously
interesting.
anyone's gonna respect someone more for being in better shape than they are for being, like, fat, right?
Yeah. It's, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, that's
Yeah.
it, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting you say that, right? Because it's not only like an internal confidence, but I mean, I always say like, yes, we should be valued based on like what we give to others and the value we can provide to the world or society or whatever. But it would also be naive for us to say that people don't kind of judge by appearance, right? And depending also on what kind of job you have, if you're people facing, like people are kind of making an impression based on how you look. And like, let's say you walk into a room and yeah, you got like a gut and you kind of like slouching forward, your posture is bad, and you're kind of walking like you don't really have any emphasis on what you're doing. Versus if you're in like kick-ass shape, you're lean, you're jacked, you got a good V taper, you walk in with your chest up, great posture. Like there's a really big difference on how you're perceived. And I think a lot of guys almost like pretend that that's not a thing. I don't know if you've seen maybe either friends or coworkers or just people just around that like almost are not wanting to like believe that that's a thing. Have you experienced
I
that?
have experienced that, but definitely says 100% true. We humans 100%, judge people based on their looks.
Yeah. I mean, I wish it kind of
Especially
wasn't that way in certain
yeah.
instances, but it is. It is the way it is, right? So, okay, man. No, that's super cool. And okay, I'm trying to think about. I want to dig like a little bit more kind of into that point. So, confidence obviously was a big thing, and like, is there anything else that you found like personally that shifted, seeing your physique transform and doing that? Was there anything other than confidence?
Buying clothes gets a lot easier because your body is the fit. Doesn't matter what you wear, because it all fits great.
Yeah, that's a good
So,
point.
you can just
Yeah.
go to Walmart or Joe Fresh and get clothes, and since you're jacked and you look great, the clothes look great too.
That's a very good point. Yeah. Yeah, $20 t-shirt starts to look, like, awesome, right?
Exactly.
Did you need to get, like, new pants or, like,
Yes,
new shorts
need
and
to
stuff?
get I was wearing all my high school stuff, honestly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I had to get new uniform, new everything, and it was
Wow.
great. I loved
Oh,
it.
that's
I
crazy,
still have
man.
my old clothes,
Yeah,
but
yeah. No, that's super cool, super cool. Okay, so now that you've kinda checked this major box, right? Like what you think is the next level from like any mindset shifts? Obviously we talked about the confidence, we talked about things like clothes changing and how we show up and how people perceive us. What additional levels do you think that you're going to get further along the line in your fitness journey? Like what is there just more layers to that, or are there other aspects that you think are going to continue to improve down the line? I know that's an interesting question.
honestly, I haven't really thought about it at all.
Yeah,
So
that's
I'd be
fine. That's
lying if
fine.
I gave you an
Yeah.
answer right there. I don't know, getting stronger would be better.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I don't know, being a good, role model for eventually if one day I do have kids,
Nice.
but,
Yeah.
I need a girlfriend first for that.
Girlfriend first, then yeah, there's a few like logical steps and practical, considerations before the
Yeah, I
baby
can't
comes,
wait
right?
to feed
Uh,
my kid a gram of protein per body, per pound they are
Founded by.
from the second they're a toddler. I don't care. Like,
Oh my gosh, man. Yeah, doing push-ups right away. Like,
exactly.
yeah, that's funny. Yeah, those are some big motivations, man. Yeah, the strength is a big one also just for everyday life. And then yeah, being a role model, not only to the kids, but I think you'd be surprised, Eric, like even though our friends might not tell us the people around us, like you probably are inspiring people even if you don't realize it.
Mhm,
Right. Like even, one of your coworkers I work with now and they've done like a fantastic job and completely transformed as well. But like for that's a like a obvious example, right?
mhm.
But I think there's probably some other people in your life that if you were to really take a step back and think about it, even if they don't say like you probably are a role model to other people, that it's not doesn't mean you have to have a kid to be a role model. Like you probably already are.
No, my mom has actually lost a decent amount of weight and started eating a lot of protein, and,
Really?
yeah, I've actually never mentioned that to you. Funny enough.
No,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, she's lost a good amount of weight, super proud of her. She eats a lot of protein now. I always tell
Good
her,
for her.
"You wanna be able to run around with your grandchildren and not be the fat grandma." So, done a great job. Yeah.
Good for her, man. Tell her I give her props, or a high five or whatever, whatever. But that's awesome. Yeah, so that's like a perfect example right there, like the ripple effect that can happen. So I think for you, my like now that you've kind of achieved that kind of internal wins, I think for you, I would be looking more to see like how maybe you can make that ripple effect even more amplified. That would be kind of my wish for you as you can as you continue on in kind of your journey, right? And apart from but we still have many levels to go with the physique as well. That you're gonna be like, just when you think like this is good, then you're like, oh shit, or excuse my French, oh shoot, like this is good, and then you reach that level, and then there's another level, and you just might keep impressing yourself, right? When you take it phase by phase. So that'd be my hope for you. Okay, so people sitting at home who are like, you know what? I've seen Paris, Courtney, and Steve on the internet. Not sure if they're the real deal. They're probably a scam or some, they only give their clients AI stuff or whatever. Like, what would you say to them? Because obviously, hey, people are skeptical about coaching, which I can understand because there's a lot of really shitty coaches.
There are, yeah.
Again, excuse my French. They're like so many shitty coaches. Trust me, we're not going to go down that rabbit hole. But what would you say to people like your experience? Like, do you feel like coaching was obviously it made that unlock for progress, but like the service, I guess, from your perspective was is up to par with what you kind of
Yeah,
expected.
they are the real deal. Everything's going to be tailored to you. It clearly works. You can look at all their clients were real people. Your price, I mean, your health is priceless, so it's worth the money. Like 10 out of 10 times would do it again.
Appreciate that. And one key mindset shift also for people that are maybe starting from where you started. And I know you talked about the consistency and just like taking it day by day and just going for it. But like, what's the initial kind of push that you could say to just get them going? Because a lot of people they don't start because they're scared of failing or they don't know what to do, or there's like a laundry list of reasons, right? Why people don't take things more seriously. So what do you think is like the biggest unlock that they need to have in order to like take the first step in taking action?
I mean, if you want to be good looking, then get a good looking body. I don't know. Most people are good looking people. They just slim down,
Colleen?
got lean, and you'll be great. You'll look good. You'll feel good. No one,
So true.
yeah,
Yeah. I don't know if you saw my face transformation reel that I posted the other
I
day. Did you
did
see
see
that?
that. Yes.
Yeah. Like, man, perfect example there, right? Like, as you said, a lot of people are actually like very attractive. They just they haven't revealed like their actual like face yet. I know that sounds weird. But there's a lot of people who are like really good looking. They just don't really know it. Uh, you know. So that's a really good point. And final question that we have to ask on all podcasts. What is one truth that you realized throughout this process that you maybe didn't expect?
I
Could
now
be about
hold
yourself
other
or
people to higher standard. whether it's my peers or just strangers. Yeah, it's one truth I've realized, unfortunately. And
So like you now expect a higher level from people
mhm,
in general.
yes.
Okay. Interesting. I like that. I like that. Is there anything else that you would want to share today that you would feel like people need to hear or that, you think is important or
Being
valuable?
fit is priceless. No one can take it away from you no matter what they think of you. If you have an amazing body and you are fit, then yeah, no one can take it away from you. And it's one of the best feelings in the world. It's that simple.
Yeah, I 100% agree, even though I'm drinking my own Kool-Aid. 100% agree. Well, Eric, this has been awesome, pretty inspirational. If you guys, you can try to find maybe Eric's transformation on our website. I think it's anonymous, but if you go there, you might be able to scroll through and find, maybe take a guess at which one he is. But yeah, super inspirational stuff, man. Thank you so much for coming on. And without further ado, we'll see you guys next time for another episode of True Talks.